and we kind of let them go, and we saw a really big jump in our numbers out at like Kingsbridge Middle School and South Jackson. We went from having 2 mentors at South Jackson to, I think we have close to 14 or 15 this past year. And it really was because someone was able to kind of nurture that area and work on finding some people that could tell other people. So that's a little bit about what we do, is just to try to get people talking and sharing their experiences. And yesterday I looked at a video of this company called Blend Tech. So they make blenders. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of them before. But what's really cool about their business is that they invented this cool blender and they had no marketing money. They had zero. So the guy that they hired to market with zero money went into the room where the technicians were working on this blend, working with this blender, and he didn't see them making smoothies or anything that was delicious or yummy to eat. They were in there blending up golf balls, cell phones, all this crazy stuff because they wanted to see what this blender could do, how powerful it was. So guy makes a little YouTube video, and the next thing you know, everyone knows about Blend Tech because it's got 10 million views on because the guy ground up an iPhone in a blender. So, people remark about the remarkable. They talk about things that affect them in a positive way, or that's different. So if we can get some kids' stories out there, because I know you guys have them, because we have them. I mean, we have amazing stories of what people have done in the lives with the kids. And we've gotten those documented on tape. We've this year what we did was we actually had our person interview mentors and students, because sometimes I find when you go into especially groups with men who might be a little older, they have so much to offer because we need men to mentor, but they're a little scared about going into the schools because they feel like they're not going to relate, or they're not cool enough, or kids might be weird or scary, or they're just too far removed. And so we let some mentors talk on the DVD, and we picked young college students, we picked 20-somethings, we have retired folks, we have a couple older senior men, and they're kind of talking about their experience as well as the students. So we're kind of hoping this year introducing that component is going to help people to realize that they can do this, and it can be very rewarding for them to be able to be involved with the student. So that's just a little bit what we do with people, and just identifying our assets. I like to call them the connectors. They're people that you meet that come to your trainings or whatever. They like to talk, they share information really well, and they know lots of people. And so if you can find some connectors that are passionate about mentoring and get them to buy into what you're trying to do, it will be an effective tool for you for recruitment. It has for us, and it just seems so simple. The other thing that we do is we really try to work in a positive manner with our schools, and we all that can be tricky sometimes with the school systems, but you definitely want to make the front desk secretary your friend, or that person. We had an instance this past year where some teachers were not wanting their kids to go for their mentoring sessions, and so a couple of mentors were a little disheartened that they didn't feel welcome there by the teacher. So I called the principal and I asked the counselor, can I come share with the teachers what we're doing? And so I went to the school, one afternoon at the end of the day, and I can't remember if I brought them cookies or if I thought I should have brought them cookies. but it's a good idea if you can bring them cookies, because they're always hungry. And so I brought her a little DVD that we took and shared with them the stories from the kids. And it was really great, because they were like, oh, we didn't really know that's what they did with the kids. We just thought they were taking them out to play games, and so we had some dialogue. And the counselor was actually able to talk and say, oh, but even if they're just playing games, you wouldn't believe the impact that that can have on, you know, some students. So, you know, just, you know, nurturing those school relationships. Consider forming a communications committee with volunteers within your group that will help you get some information out there, and using listservs, any information that you can find in your community as a way to get out. We had some great newspaper articles written where the newspaper would interview a student. They call it Mentor Magic, and they ran it for like 3 weeks last August. And we received a lot of new mentors from that series that they ran on mentoring. So, you know, that was a good thing as well. So think about ways you can get your communications out there. Speak to as many community groups as you can. And if you can take a student or mentor-mentee match with you to share for 5 minutes, that's effective as well. Let's see, some of the nuts and bolts of things that we do at the beginning of the school year. I get volunteers to offer that, you know, I get some volunteers to go to open house. So we set up booths at open house at our different schools with the Lindsay's Legacy information, and I print all the information for them to take, and I think I might have brought it, but you know, it might look like, you know, because I have to make like, you know, 25 sets or whatever, but it may be things like this, and we'll set them on the table because I have a banner, but there's only one. So we'll just kind of make some cool stuff and put some brochures out, and but we let mentors man this booth so they can talk to other people about what their experience. So finding your open house or your PTO groups, and then I always try to find, if I can, that person in the school that is kind of appreciative of what you're doing, because a lot of times you'll find that one person who's like, I love your program, and it might be a teacher or it might be someone at the front office, and so then I'll begin to ask them, have you seen any really great parents in here recently that are just dying to volunteer? And so, you know, and I'll get them to give me a list, and I'll be like, anybody you can think of who's, you know, would like to, you think would enjoy this. And so you would be surprised at how many people those people can find for you. So, you know, we recently got 5 or 6 firemen that all came together to the South Jackson area. And it was just because one lady in a school was very passionate about getting mentors for Kingsbridge Middle School. And so she just, you know, she just kept asking them until they came. So that's really a good thing to do as well. Let's see. We also, like, as far as retention goes, we do monthly newsletters to our mentors. We do what we call mentor idea swap sessions a couple times a year, and that's where we just have a location, Williams-Jackson EMC Auditorium, and it's Dutch treat lunch. The mentors pay for their own lunch, and we'll usually bring in Chick-fil-A or some other local food, and sometimes we do a speaker for about 10 to 15 minutes that'll just maybe talk about, I think last year we talked about that, the Sparks program, helping your student identify their spark, and we did that at one of them, and what motivates them, you know, in a positive way. So we kind of talked about that, and then we have a facilitator and roundtable. The mentors like talking to other mentors and getting ideas from what things that they're doing, and I think that helps them to stay positive about their experience. So that's one of the things we do. And we do an appreciation luncheon, and we choose a mentor of the year and give an award for that. So just letting people know that they're valued, and you know, keeping that good rapport, and also just, you know, like making your training sessions good, and you know, make sure all your components are there. And we've got a manual. It went from a basement. We used to have them just in a folder, and then one of our mentors decided it was her project to give us a nice book, and so this lady does these for us. But we have a manual, but we try to keep our sessions to like an hour and 20 minutes and be conscientious of people's times, their time frame, and not make your trainings, you know, we keep them rolling.